Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Talk Spicy. I'm Coach Gene Clemens. Thank you for joining me wherever you are joining me. Rate the show, comment, agree, disagree, but whatever you do, keep it spicy. 5-star ratings are appreciated. If you're joining me on the YouTube channel, make sure that you like, make sure you subscribe. We really do appreciate it. As always, the Eastern and Western Conference Finals, I believe, are over. I believe that the last couple of games that we've seen marks the end for the other team. I'll tell you what I mean. Last night, Boston went ahead in that what was left at best of 3 series. And because they went ahead, they now only have to win 1 out of 2. One of them at Boston. I think what we're seeing here is, at the end of the day, talent is going to trump hard work when talent is working just as hard, right? I really and truly believe that hard work trumps talent when talent doesn't work hard. But when talent works hard, it doesn't really matter much of what you do. Talent's going to win out. And the truth of the matter is Boston just has more talent. I love this Miami team. I don't really particularly like how they've been playing or the way that Boston's been playing, because it's been ugly basketball, especially last night. But I was waiting for one team to put together a couple of these in a row in order to say, okay, this is over. Whichever team was the team that put a couple in a row was going to be the team that won. Well, guess what? Boston did it. Eastern Conference Finals are over, at least in my opinion. I could be wrong. Miami could run off 2 straight. But tell me how many of you guys out there really believe that Miami has what it takes to win 2 games in a row based off what you've seen this during this playoffs. Heck, they had a hard enough time getting rid of Philadelphia with a broken Joel Embiid. So it's not like they've been running roughshod through the playoffs. This is the reason why most people were disrespecting them as a 1 seed. They were downplaying them as a 1 seed. What's up, Bruss? Shout out to Shimmy Clemens out there. That's my big bro. Always appreciate him, supporting and everything. Really do. But yeah, it's a thing, right? That Eastern Conference Finals are over. The Western Conference Finals have been over, if y'all haven't known. The reason why it wasn't a sweep was because of the tragedy that happened in Texas. You can tell Steve Kerr didn't want anything to do with basketball on that day. And we have to put more respect on the name of Steve Kerr. Like, clearly, there's something that he's able to do. There's something that he's able to manipulate that gets them to play differently. It gets them to play a more fluid, more cohesive game than when he's not on the bench. They don't have KD. So when he wasn't on the bench, but they had KD, that's different, because now you've got a cheat code out there. But when you don't have KD, and you actually do have to, guide and lead and all that other stuff, you can tell the difference when he's locked in than when he's not locked in. Because if he's not locked in, then the rest of the team, his team's not locked in, and they can be beat. But all that did was stall the execution. That's all it did. It stalled the execution. Because they were going to get beat. They were going to lose this series regardless. Now, they'll just lose it, Lose it at Golden State instead of losing it in Dallas. That's all. There is no, I give them zero chance of winning this game. If you're a betting person, put your money on Golden State. I wouldn't so much necessarily like clamor for the over-under, although I could see this being a game where Golden State puts up 100, 15, 120 points, and depending on what the over-under is, it might be worth looking at. But definitely a Golden State kind of victory going on today. But that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. See, with all of the tragedy that's going on in around our world, but it's just especially within our country, I always think it's interesting that sports has kind of been the beacon for everybody to find their way back. Sports has always operated as the guiding light for change. Sports has always acted as the guiding light for overcoming adversity. The one thing that sports does, or one of the things that sports does, is it prepares young men and women to endure tough times. It prepares them to endure tough times. Like some of y'all, like I know some of you guys may not believe in desensitization, but I do. I believe you can be desensitized to certain things. If I see violence every day, then I am no longer as sensitive to violence as I was if I don't see violence on a regular basis. Now, I think some of you also mistake being desensitized from not caring. I don't believe that's the case, right? So when I see these murders in Texas, because I'm looking at people and situations of people being murdered every single day, because we as a country deal with these types of murders on a regular basis, we're becoming desensitized. That's why it doesn't last as long in the news cycle. It's not that we don't care, it's that we've seen it. So we have to internalize and continue on. Well, guess what? That's what sports does. Sports gives you the ability to accept defeat, get back up, and move on. It gives you the ability to go through adversity and move on. It gives you the ability to stand up in front of people, be accountable for your actions, succeed or fail, and move on. When you get injured, what do? You rehab. You get back out there. You play when you're not 100%. You play through it. They tell you, oh, can you play through the pain? Nothing else in life prepares you better to deal with these things than sports. And it doesn't matter what sports you play. If there's a competitive element to it, you're going to have to go through these things. Like people, we have the argument all the time about cheerleading and gymnastics and whether or not they're sports. And I've always fallen on the side that cheerleading and gymnastics are not sports because they are not decided by the people in the competition. I mean, in the arena, they're decided by the people who are watching. Whereas sport is A, B go against each other, A defeats B. And then people were like, oh, well, what about boxing? Because boxing and MMA go to judges. I was like, yeah, but you have the chance to end it yourself. Now, with that being said, that does not mean that I don't believe that gymnastics and cheerleading are extremely like athletic. They're athletic endeavors. They're competitions though, right? They're competitions, not sports, competitions. And they are uber hard. Gymnasts, I've always said, bar none, the hardest working athletes in the world. Gymnasts, done, period, end. It's not even close for second, right? It's not even close for second. Being able to go through the levels of adversity and scrutiny and all of that you have to go through as a gymnast only prepares you for the future, only prepares you for the world. As a gymnast, as a football player, as a cheerleader, as a tennis player, in golf, like, it doesn't matter the sport. It doesn't matter the competition. If you're an athlete, the thing that athletics does is it gets you ready for this. It gets you ready for it. That's why we're able to play again. That's why we're able to rally. That's one of the reasons why I think Golden State's going to blow out Dallas today. Because Steve Kerr, who isn't just talking, by the way, if you don't know Steve Kerr's background, maybe you should go look it up about what his family has endured. But these things hit home for Steve Kerr. So he is going to be motivated today. Because that's how our bodies are triggered. When tragedy happens, when things are negative, we rally back with more energy, with more effort, with more aggression. We fight tragedy with power, with speed, with athleticism. We fight it because we know that the only way to get through this is to put your head down and power through. You can't go around it because you don't know how wide this thing is. The fastest between 2 points is a straight line. So we put our head down and we go through it. That's what we do. That's what we do as athletes. That's how we teach. Hey, man, you're not good at this. You just got to put your head down and keep working. Alignment, assignment, technique. You just got to keep working. You can't shoot free throws. The only way to learn how to shoot free throws is to just keep shooting free throws. Work on the proper technique. Find the technique that works for you. And then practice, 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 practice. That's it. We don't care how many free throws you've missed in a game. When the next game comes up, the only thing people want to know is, are you going to make that one? And the part of the adversity that we have to accept is that when people ask that, they're asking it thinking that you're probably not going to make it. And you have to fight the demons, right? You've got to fight those demons that are saying, hey, you're probably not going to make it. That's the adversity. Why do you think so many athletes rise up the corporate world? Why do you think so many athletes have so much success in their next endeavor after sports are over? Because they understand what it takes to continue to move forward. They have the building blocks to be able to progress. Not everybody is equipped with those building blocks because not everybody has been tried under fire. See, there's a difference between being someone telling you about adversity and you going through adversity. It's difference between somebody saying to you, hey, adversity is going to come. This is how you handle adversity. Or you going through adverse situations, figuring it out, and now you understand. There's a difference. That's what sports does. Oh, I've heard out there people say, man, all of the money that they spend on athletics, all of the money that they spend on athletics, they could. You don't want to know what this world would be like without athletics. And it has nothing to do with your entertainment. It has nothing to do with your enjoyment. It has nothing to do with the fact that you won't have anything to watch on Sunday afternoons. This world without sports, without a large community of people who can articulate and understand how to get through adversity, would be a sad, sad place. A sad place. A place that I don't ever want to see. Whether I'm coaching, whether I'm not. I never want to see a place where athletics are not there, because I know the type of changes that it makes. I know the way that it prepares us for what's coming, not for what we hope or what we think or worst case scenario. Nope. Preparing for the inevitable. These mass shootings, because we don't do anything about them, they're inevitable. It's not worst case scenario, it's when. It's when. You know how long Columbine was? Nothing was done. Everybody was in an uproar. Nothing was done. So if we're tracing it back and we're saying, oh, you know what? Mass murders, genocides that have been committed in this country, and nothing has been done to prevent it from happening again. And what do they say? If you don't learn from history, you are doomed to repeat it. You are doomed to repeat it. Not, hey, you might repeat it. It could repeat itself. No, doomed to repeat it. So the only thing we can do is to continue to prepare people for what's coming. And nothing prepares people from what's coming better than sport. Better than athletics. And that's why I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Talk Spicy. I'm Coach Gene Clemens. Thank you for joining us. Wherever you are joining us, rate the show, comment, agree, disagree, but whatever you do, keep it spicy. 5-star ratings are appreciated. And if you're joining me on the YouTube channel, make sure you like and subscribe. If you're joining me on Facebook, make sure you like the page. Big things coming this summer. If you're joining me on Twitter, obviously, y'all have been down 10 toes. Make sure that you subscribe to the podcast on Spotify or wherever you get your podcast. Until next time, peace.